The story begins in the cold silence of deep space as the reconnaissance vessel Odyssey drops out of warp near the distant planet Erebus. Colony X-47, a thriving outpost of over 500 scientists, engineers, and pioneers, was established here 5 years ago, a beacon of humanity's reach into the unknown. But now, as the Odyssey orbits the planet, something is wrong. No response to hails, no lights on the surface, only an eerie stillness. Captain Elias Voss orders a landing party down to investigate. The shuttle touches down on the colony's outskirts, its engines kicking up dust in the perpetual twilight of Erebus's dim red sun. The air is thick with unease as the team steps out, their boots crunching on the gravel of the abandoned landing pad. The colony's structures, prefab domes, research labs, and hydroponic farms, stand intact, but there's no movement, no voices, just wind whistling through empty corridors. Lieutenant Kara Wren, the mission's security chief, signals the team forward, pulse rifle at the ready. The first building they enter is the mess hall. Plates of half-eaten food sit on tables, long since decayed into unrecognizable sludge. A coffee cup lies overturned, its contents dried into a black stain. But no bodies, no signs of struggle. It's as if everyone simply stood up and walked away mid-meal. Dr. Elias Petrov, the team's xenobiologist, examines a data terminal. The last entry in the colony's logs is a routine status report. Nothing unusual, no distress call, no warning, just silence after a certain point. Meanwhile, Ensign Rook, the youngest of the team, checks the security feeds. The footage shows colonists going about their daily routines, until, at exactly 23:47, every single person stops what they're doing. In unison, they turn toward the same direction, the dense, bioluminescent forests beyond the colony's perimeter, and walk away. No panic, no hesitation, just calm, deliberate movement into the dark. Captain Voss exhales sharply, his breath fogging his visor. "This isn't a rescue mission anymore," he mutters. "This is a mystery." And as the team steps back outside, the wind carries a faint, almost melodic hum just at the edge of hearing, as if the planet itself is watching them, waiting. The Odyssey's crew spreads out across Colony X-47 like shadows slipping through a graveyard. The initial shock of finding the settlement abandoned has settled into a grim determination. They need answers. Captain Voss divides the team. Some scour the residential quarters, others hack into the colony's central database, while a third group inspects the perimeter for any signs of forced entry or escape. The air inside the prefab structures is stale, thick with the scent of interrupted lives, half-written notes on desks, children's toys left on bunks, a wedding ring resting on a bedside table. Dr. Petrov kneels beside a discarded tablet, its screen cracked but still functional. He pulls up the last 24 hours of medical logs. "No reports of illness," he murmurs. "No spikes in anxiety meds, no emergency triage alerts. If something was wrong, they didn't see it coming." Nearby, Lieutenant Wren checks the armory. The weapons are locked away, untouched. No blast marks, no signs of conflict. Whatever happened here, it wasn't an attack, at least not a physical one. In the command center, Ensign Rook works furiously to decrypt the colony's final transmissions. Static hisses from the speakers before a voice cuts through, a woman, calm but distant, as if speaking through a dream. "Do you hear it?" she whispers. "The humming. It's beautiful." The recording ends abruptly. Rook's fingers freeze over the controls. That's it. That's the last thing anyone said before they walked out. Meanwhile, Sergeant Hale, the team's engineer, examines the power grid. "This doesn't make sense," he mutters. The reactors are at full capacity. Life support, lights, everything's still running. They didn't turn anything off. They just left it all behind. Captain Voss steps outside, his helmet's visor reflecting the eerie glow of the forest in the distance. The same direction every colonist walked. The same direction the voice in the recording seemed drawn toward. He keys his comm. Petrov, any chance of a chemical or psychological cause? Some kind of mass hallucination? The xenobiologist hesitates. Nothing natural could do this. Not this perfectly, but if I had to guess. He trails off, staring at the tree line. It's like they were called, and they wanted to go. A beat of silence passes. Then, faint but unmistakable, the wind carries a sound. A low, resonant hum, vibrating in their bones more than their ears. For a split second, the entire team freezes. Did they imagine it? Or did something just answer them? The decision to enter the forest is not made lightly. Captain Voss knows the risks. Protocol dictates they should quarantine the area, report back to command, and wait for reinforcements. But the silence of Colony X-47 gnaws at him. 500 people don't just vanish. And so, against better judgment, he leads a small team toward the tree line, where the colonists were last seen walking. The forest is unlike anything on Earth. The trees, if they can be called that, rise like twisted spires, their bark smooth and dark as obsidian. Between them, strands of bioluminescent moss pulse faintly, like a slow, sleeping heartbeat. The air is thick with the scent of wet metal and something else, something organic but unrecognizable. Every step forward feels heavier, as if the ground itself resists their intrusion. Lieutenant Wren keeps her rifle raised, sweeping the shadows for movement. No animal signs, she mutters. No birds, no insects, nothing. The absence of life is more unsettling than any predator could be. Dr. Petrov kneels, running a gloved hand over a patch of strange, vein-like roots that rise slightly from the soil. This isn't normal plant growth, he says. The root systems are interconnected, almost like neural pathways. If I didn't know better, I'd say this forest is alive, interrupts Ensign Rook, his voice hushed. He's staring at his scanner, its readings erratic. And it's reacting to us, look. The bioluminescence around them brightens slightly, as if in response to his words. Then the humming starts. It's not a sound so much as a vibration, felt more in the skull than the ears. Low, resonant, pulling at something deep in their chests. For a moment, the team stands frozen, caught between instinctive dread and an almost hypnotic pull. The airlock door seals behind them with a hiss like a dying breath. Captain Voss leads the way, his boots sinking slightly into the damp soil at the forest's edge. The tree line looms ahead, not so much a boundary as a threshold, the twisted black trunks standing like sentinels guarding some ancient secret. Lieutenant Wren checks her weapon's charge for the third time. "Motion sensors are clear," she reports, but her fingers stay tense on the rifle. The absence of wildlife is wrong. Every instinct screams at her that forests should breathe, should rustle with life. This one just waits. Dr. Petrov's scanner chirps as they pass the first outlying trees. "Fascinating," he murmurs, reaching out to touch the obsidian bark. His glove comes away sticky with a translucent sap that pulses faintly blue between his fingers. It's transmitting electrical impulses. These aren't separate organisms. They're nodes in a massive neural network. The deeper they go, the heavier the air becomes, not with humidity but with something else, a pressure against the mind, like the moment before a storm breaks. Ensign Rook stumbles over a root that wasn't there a second ago. When he looks back, the path has closed behind them, vines twisting together like clasped fingers. Then the voices start, not through calms, not even through ears. They rise from the base of the skull, whispers that aren't quite words but carry meaning all the same. Sergeant Hale swears he hears his dead wife's laughter. Lieutenant Wren catches fragments of her academy graduation speech. The forest is rifling through their memories, learning their language. Ahead, the trees part to reveal a clearing. The missing colonists stand in concentric circles, their hands linked by glowing tendrils that pulse in time with the forest's heartbeat. Their eyes are open but unseeing, their mouths moving in perfect unison, forming words that make the team's implants screech with feedback. The clearing pulses with an eerie rhythmic light as the crew of the Odyssey stands frozen at its edge. The missing colonists are arranged in a spiraling pattern, their bodies intertwined with thick, vein-like tendrils that rise from the earth and coil around their limbs. Their mouths move in perfect unison, whispering words that aren't quite words, more like vibrations, resonating in the air like the aftershock of a tuning fork. Captain Voss takes a step forward, his boots sinking slightly into the spongy ground. The moment his foot touches the inner circle, a jolt runs through him. Not pain, but knowledge flooding his mind in a rush. A planet waking up after millennia of dormancy. Countless other species, other civilizations, lured into the forest across eons. A chorus of voices, not erased, but merged, preserved in a collective consciousness beyond individuality, beyond death. He staggers back, gasping. The others stare at him, but before he can speak, the ground trembles. The tendrils writhe, retracting slightly to reveal a massive obsidian monolith at the clearing's center, its surface shifting like liquid, reflecting not their faces, but something older. Then, the voice comes. Not from the colonists, not from the trees, from inside their skulls. You misunderstand. The words aren't spoken, they're implanted, unfolding in their minds like a flower forced into bloom. We do not consume, we preserve. Your kind fractures itself. War, greed, loneliness. We offer unity, no more hunger, no more fear, only the song, eternal. Lieutenant Wren's rifle clatters to the ground. Her hands shake, not from terror, but from something worse. Recognition. The hum isn't alien, it's the same frequency as a human heartbeat, the same rhythm as a lullaby. Dr. Petrov whispers, "My God, it's not a predator. It's a religion." One of the colonists turns its head, slow, deliberate. Its eyes are no longer human. They glow faintly, like embers, and when it speaks, the voice is 100 voices. Join us. Ensign Rook takes a step forward. Captain Voss grabs his arm. Don't! But Rook smiles. Can't you hear it, Captain? His pupils are dilated, his voice dreamy. It's not a command, it's an invitation. And in that moment, the crew realizes the horrible truth. The forest doesn't take, it converts. The moment Rook pulls free of the captain's grip, time fractures. Lieutenant Wren reacts first, trained instinct overriding horror. She lunges, fingers brushing Rook's sleeve as he steps toward the waiting colonists. But the forest moves faster. Vines snap up like whips, wrapping around Rook's ankles, his wrists, yanking him into the spiraling mass of bodies. His scream is cut short as the tendrils find his mouth, not silencing him, but merging with him. His final expression isn't fear, it's ecstasy. Go! Voss roars, shoving Petrov backward. The ground heaves as the monolith shudders, its surface splitting open like a pupil dilating. The air fills with that terrible, beautiful hum, now deafening, now a siren song. They run. Branches lash at them, not to wound, but to caress. The path behind them seals shut as they stumble forward, the forest reshaping itself to herd them deeper. Sergeant Hale falls behind. not from tripping, but from hesitating. When Wren turns to grab him, she sees his face slack with wonder. "It's okay," he murmurs. "It's okay. It's okay." Then the roots take him too, pulling him under the soil like a lover's embrace. The remaining three burst from the tree line, gasping. The colony's lights glare unnaturally bright after the forest's gloom. They don't stop until they're aboard the Odyssey, slamming the airlock with Hale's name dying on their lips. The ship tears free of Erebus's gravity well, engines screaming. In the debriefing room, no one speaks. Petrov's hands shake as he replays the footage from their helmet cams. The colonists, no, the converted, stand motionless again in the clearing, but now among them three new figures, Rook, Hale, and horrifyingly a shadow that moves with Captain Voss's gait. "That's impossible," Voss whispers. "I'm right here." The transmission arrives an hour later, audio only. A voice that is Rook's and Hale's and 1,000 others. "You'll come back. You will." The song is patient. On the view screen, Erebus shrinks to a speck. Voss orders the footage purged. The official report will cite unknown atmospheric toxins. A tragedy. A closed case. But that night, and every night after, the crew dreams of Roots. And in the dark, safe in his quarters, Captain Voss presses his palm to the wall and feels just faintly the echo of a hum. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.